everybody, it's Keely O'Brien here. I am back after a few days of crazy stuff going on at home. Anyway, I'm just going to take a break from trying to empty my cottage 200 miles away and sell it. It should have gone through. It hasn't gone through. It's like, I'm just going to say the word solicitor. Anyway, right, enough about that. It's not my solicitor, mine is fantastic. But anyway, everything's delayed, but there you go, it's retrograde Mercury. What was I expecting? So, back to the sanity of crafting. Oh, thank goodness for this. So, I have, you know, when you think, right, I'm going to do this, and then you do the total opposite. Do you do that? Because that seems to be just the way I do things. Don't know why, but I thought I'd do something really quick and easy to try and catch up, because I am on day 16. Yeah, just 10 days late on Kerry the Crafter's hashtag Mixed Media March 25. If you don't know what that is, you can find out on Kerry's channel. It's Kerry the Crafter or Kerry Griffiths. So I'll probably put a link in the description. I'll try and remember to do that. So yeah, you've maybe seen some of my other videos anyway, but I thought I'd do something quick and easy. I didn't do anything quick and easy, but I thought, oh, I love my Masterboard book so much. I just want to make something in it. So I've got a few things in here already, which you might have seen. I've got videos for all of them. There's my Valentine's kittens. These are just from this year if you're new. My gorgeous vintage butterflies with the background patterns and papers from one of the books under here, which I've used again on what I've started. I've got this one as well, which has got the vintage fish. Aren't they amazing? Subtle colours, or what? Slightly less subtle colours of my jelly prints. That was day 5, look. And then my gorgeous fresh, bright, zingy Happy Easter Masterboard from my Easter book. And here we are. Oh my goodness, it's a patchwork of faux stamps. And I'll show you where they all came from in a second. Oops, knocking my camera all over the place. Sorry for that. Right, so yes, we have faux stamps, which are from this book. I've been itching to use these. They're really good fun. They're clearly fake, but that's fine. They look very like some that me and my dad used to collect, or my dad used to collect and I used to help when I was very small. Trip down memory lane for me yet again. But yeah, they were in this book I published a couple of years ago nearly. I can't find them, but there's an entire page of these faux stamps. No, I can't find them now that I'm looking for them. But anyway, trust me, they're in here. No, can't find them. Anyway, yeah, there's an entire page of these. So that was sort of my inspiration for the whole book, because the challenge requires at least one piece of gel printing or something that's from a gel plate. I used this gorgeous, slightly steampunky, yes, I know that was what I was thinking I would use it for, but I haven't used it yet. So this gel print that I did, I think I made that one last year actually, but it was just perfect for this. I wanted a bit of sort of lapis lazuli, you know, that crystal with the navy with the little gold bits. That's what it's reminding me of. I just wanted this to be very vintage and rather like a patchwork quilt. So that's where that came from. These kind of patterns, you can see I just cut them up. I didn't worry about measuring anything. I just made loads of little squares like this, and rectangles. I didn't worry too much about fitting it all together, but I do need to finish off this little bit here. So those patterns came from my Spring Patterns and Papers book, and I literally just flicked through and eyeballed all of the patterns and picked out what I thought would go with those stamps without drowning them out. There's a few of these bluebells you can see, and some smaller floral patterns. And as usual, me being me, I went for the vintage look. And I love what I made. I actually made it last night in front of the film. Oops. And yeah, I love it. I don't really want to cover it up actually, but it would be nice to scan it before I start sticking things on. But I do need to finish this little bit at the bottom. Now, before I go any further, I think I've decided what I'm going to do with it. So this is my latest cut and collage book. I realise I haven't shown you my flip through video of this book yet, I don't think. I might have done a super quick flip like that. But yeah, I took this to work and cut out a load of these. I think I put it on TikTok actually and Instagram, my flip through video. So yeah, I picked out quite a lot of things that I thought I might use and just got cracking with the cutting out. I haven't quite fussy cut them. You can see they are ready to sort of place onto things and see what's going to work. So I went through what I'd cut already and I found this selection. Come on, behave. I found this selection because what I don't want, having gone to all that trouble of sticking all of these bits on, that was like an hour or so's work, maybe 2, whilst I also cleaned the coffee machine and watched a film. Yeah, so I thought I would use something that was like a warm ambery colour so it stands out against all those very delicate patterns and blues, but without covering them all up. So I've gone for my antique shop ephemera to cut out and collage as my theme, and I'm thinking it's going to be a little bit like that. So I need to obviously fussy cut the rest of these. I've just done that kettle. I need to get a knife out and finish off the inside part. So that's the plan anyway. Not sure how it's going to look. I did want to use this book, but I think I'm okay. I toyed with the idea of cups and saucers, but oh, there, look, there are the stamps. They're not actually in the turquoise book. They are in the Pretty Postal Ephemera and Faux stamps. There you go. Yeah, so I've got a whole load more of those, which I could use on another occasion, but I loved them so much I had to put them all in because I just did. Right, I've got a few new knickknacks here from the cottage, which I've emptied. A nice bowl, look at that, with the elephants. So I've made all of these with steampunk in mind. You can see numbers and bits and bobs, and those are from my stamping collection, and I thought it would be nice to make it look a little bit like an auction because these are all sort of antique and vintagey. So I thought I would pick out a few little numbers and some sort of postage parcel-y kind of if I'd received, I think maybe that's a better size. Shipment collection. I can pick and choose between these, but yeah, I thought I would pick something urgent, approved. Those would do, wouldn't they? Something just to give a few words. They're nothing sort of, they're not really sentiments, but they just give it a little bit of something. So let's just zoom in. And see a little bit closer what my thinking is. I'm probably going to get my inking head on because, hello, it's vintage. Hurrah, I get to do some inking. And I actually have some lamps like these. That's why I wanted those in the book. Love fancy lamps. Love a bit of sort of rococo and bling. Because you know what? Life's too short for all the minimalist stuff, in my opinion. You can tell I'm not really a minimalist. Yeah, anyway. Right. I'm going to get fussy cutting. I'm going to finish off the bottom of this, obviously, before I do anything else. If it'll fit in my scanner, I will scan it. I think it should do. I fitted the fish in, didn't I? Cindy, I know you want me to put these in my Ko-fi shop, and I will. I can't promise it'll be before I get the end of this challenge, but I definitely have it in mind, my dear, so don't worry. I know you've asked me a couple of times. Right, I need to get to work. Back in a bit. Well, the sharp-eyed among you might notice that I've had a change of outfit. When you can see my sleeves in a second. It's not been easy lately to get on with things, but so continuity wise this video is a nightmare, but never mind. Yeah, so I'm so happy to be using these stamps at last. It's the pattern of them, and the similarity between them. I think it just works really well as part of a patchwork pattern, and it definitely reminds me of a sort of vintage, I don't know, maybe even Victorian, or you know, early 1900s style quilt is the word I'm looking for. A quilt with stamps and flowers, and I just think it makes a great background, and part of me doesn't want to decorate it. I just want to keep it as it is, but I've still got bits and bobs. I can always make more of these. I've still got some of those gorgeous turquoise stamps in my postal ephemera book, so yeah, it will be possible to remake one of these. Hurrah. I did think about cutting this up actually into ATCs, artist trading card size, or I did think about postcards, because I could have made 4 quite decent sized postcards out of that, but it was in my Masterboard book. I could have sneaked the page out and done that, but I decided I love my Masterboard book. I love it just how it is, so I decided to leave it there. And this has to be one of the most satisfying bits, is cutting off that nice thick gluey dried out card off the edge and seeing what it all looks like when it's neat and tidy. Can be tricky to get those little edge pieces, but yeah, love that bit. So satisfying. It's a bit like bubble wrap. There we go. Hurrah, here's my Masterboard all done. I'm thrilled with that, though I say so myself. I'm really thrilled with that. I'm going to run it through my scanner before I start embellishing it and decorating it with all my antique ephemera things. So yeah, I think I'm always going to do that now. Before I decorate, scan it, and then yeah, I'll put it in my Ko-fi shop for you. Who knows, I might even get it done today if I get my act together. I will try. Okay, back in a tick. So I couldn't wait to have a play with my items from my antique shop ephemera cut and collage book that I published very recently. I put everything out on the page the way I thought I wanted it. I spent ages, but I wasn't filming. And then with it all there, I started filming, and I thought, no, it's spoiling the surprise. All you're going to see is a picture where gradually the bits get glued down, which you can't tell because you're looking at it Anyway, I scrapped that one. I took everything off, and now I've got to work out where to put it all again, but never mind, that's all part of the fun. You can probably see that I inked around the edges of everything for this, you know, the ephemera for this. I didn't ink round all the background pieces, but maybe I should have done. Would have created quite a nice sort of grid pattern, but anyway, maybe I'll try that next time. See what I'm going to do next time I do one of those. But yeah, so had quite a lot of fun working out what to put in here. I definitely wanted it to be a different colour scheme from the background, so it didn't all just merge into one great big thing. And as you can see, I picked all these sort of amber, warm, sort of fire, volcanic kind of colours. So we've got a copper teapot and various carnival glass vases and a couple of the cute dolls. Not so much the creepy dolls. Oh, Nicole very kindly, excuse me, on Relax Cut Glue did a flip through video. And there's two camps when it comes to dolls, isn't there? Especially vintage ones. There's the creepy dolls, I can't look, it's terrifying. Or there's the aren't they adorable? I love dolls, they're so pretty. They remind me of, you know, my childhood or all that sort of thing. Yeah, I think Nicole was in that. Some of these dolls are reminding me of creepy films and stuff. But the ones I used in this piece are, I think, a little bit less creepy and a bit more, slightly more modern style, even though they're in vintage outfits. So yeah, you can see what I was going for, a sort of even spread of mostly those warm colours so that it stands out. And I'm loving my new trays as well. That little tray for bits of ephemera and stuff, that wooden one, yeah, it's great. I think it's just bamboo and job done. And of course my elephant bowl, which is super sweet. And again, great for just sorting ephemera into, and it looks pretty, in my opinion. And yeah, you can see I like vintage stuff because the table I work on is so old and vintage. It's very old pine table that passed on to me through a family member, no longer with us sadly. But I just love old things. They tell a story, don't they? And I love where things have got marks on them. And I had a table like this table many years ago, and it actually had the shape of a spanner or a wrench. If you're in the States, I think that's what you call a spanner. And it was like an oily mark. So it had obviously been in a workshop somewhere, that table, but it was very similar to this lovely sort of old pine that had so many stories to tell if it could only speak. So, but yeah, used to be our kitchen dining table years ago when my son was little, and he would sit there with his pens and glue and draw his bionicles, which was the thing he liked to do when he was quite small. And I've still got some of his books of his art that he used to do. He'll probably kill me for saying that on YouTube, but anyway, yes, I have some gorgeous little pictures that he did of bionicles, which are kind of like Lego people. I'm not even sure if they're still making bionicles. I think they morphed them into something else, but they're like little figures that you click together, and they're sort of robot people. I think they switch from a robot person into something else, a vehicle or something as well. I'm not sure, a bit like Transformers. Anyway, yeah, he used to sit at the table with his giant box of pens and stuff and draw bionicles a lot of the time. Anyway, so back to the vintage. There goes a gorgeous little Bakelite telephone. I actually have a Bakelite telephone sitting on the landing upstairs in my house. yeah, so funny story, well, slightly eerie story. That phone that I have, it used to live in my old house, and we actually plugged it in and we used to use it. It sat by the sofa in the lounge. So we had one of those houses where it's quite a big place on lots of floors and you have to run up and down the stairs all the time. So we did have a number of cordless phones. Even that tech seems outdated now, but we used the Bakelite phone in the lounge. So if the phone rang when we were watching the TV, you could just pick up the Bakelite phone. All good. Anyway, moved now and living in a different house and plugged in the Bakelite phone just for funsies. And I don't even know what the phone number to this house would be because we don't have those phones anymore. We just survive with mobiles. And very occasionally that phone will ring. So nobody knows the number. There's no landline set up, and very occasionally that phone will just ring a couple of rings. Terrifying. Anyway, had to unplug it. Yeah, it's a nice thing to have though. It's a lovely thing to have. It's really heavy. It feels like you're properly doing something when you pick it up. It feels like an old, Ealing comedy film or something like that. Yeah, I love my old vintage stuff. As you can tell from my antique shop ephemera book. So yeah, I was inspired to do that book one day when, in fact, I wrote this just inside the front cover. I always write a few words inside my books just to say hello and, give a little bit of background or something about the book. So yeah, it was a hot day at work last summer and I needed a breath of air. It was there wasn't that much going on, so I wandered down the road and into our local antiques market. And it's like an Aladdin's cave in there. It's fantastic. They have so much stuff. There's oil paintings on the walls and old cabinets everywhere and piles of crockery and cutlery, all sort of like old silver forks all tied together with string for sale, in bundles. And there's so much vintage ephemera in there. It's just like a wonderful reference point for a book. And I just suddenly thought, I have to make a cut and collage book with all this stuff. It's so beautiful. And a lot of it's sort of going out of style now. People like their minimalist stuff. Well, I'm not really a minimalist. I love colour. I think I'd go round the bend if I lived in one of those perfect, completely white houses where everything's square or rectangular and the same colour. I think I'd just go nuts. I think maybe that's why I'm now making collages with lots of crazy colours and cramming in lots of gorgeous elements because just because I can and it's fun and it doesn't take up the whole house. Anyway, yeah, antique stuff. So my previous house was very much a Victorian house, and so had a bit of a phase of collecting antique and vintage furniture and paintings for the walls, and most of it was, from charity shops or vintage shops and so on. And I just love all that stuff. You never know what you're going to find, whether it's valuable or not. I don't think that particularly matters, although it is nice to find some treasures. But that you can find treasures just in like a thimble, those things you put on your finger so you don't stick the needle in your finger when you're sewing. One of those, or something like like the fan in this picture. I love those. Somebody somewhere in the world woke up one day and thought, I am going to create a beautiful fan and it's going to have orange and cream and it's going to have blossoms on it. And I just love that. Those things are a testament to creativity and a lot of thought and somebody's hard work, hard-earned company perhaps that they founded. Like the carnival glass, you know, it's not my favourite thing to have around the house, the orange vases there, but I just love the colours, and they're all a little bit different, but there's a definite style of that glass that was very fashionable. I think probably in the 1950s, 1960s. And you sometimes find it in charity shops and places like that, but it's very pretty. Yeah, I just love handmade things, or things that have a story attached to them, or things that are, you know, retro, vintage. So anyway, I put as much of that as I could in my cut and collage book. I could probably spin that idea out into another book. Let me know what you think, because I love vintage and it just gives me so much scope doing an antique shop ephemera book. So yeah, maybe in a year or so you'll get another one of those from me. Working on another vintage book at the moment, which is very exciting, but you'll have to wait and see what that is. And of course, what I haven't done is added my number 16, because this is day 16 and I'm filming this, it's nearly the end of the month. I think people who have caught up or kept up with the challenge are on day 28 now, but you know, I'm not going to worry. There's more things to worry about in life. I really want to complete this challenge. It's not going to happen within the month of March, but hey ho. Right, I need to stick 16 somewhere on here. Where do you think? I haven't left much space, have I? You fool. I think maybe here. So yeah, I bought some more of these in Poundland at the station on the way home the other evening, because it's taken me some days to get this finished, this particular piece, just with things going on and the cottage and legal stuff for that and charities and people giving my house keys to random neighbours in the street who they don't know who they are, and I'm 200 miles away. Yeah, anyway, I've still got a dining table and chairs, hoping somebody's going to do something with that for me. Anyway, excuses, those are my excuses. These are my excuses. If you don't like them, I have more. Right, number 16 is done then. Yeah, I'm really hoping to get a bit more time in the next few days to do some more crafting for this challenge. I'm also working on a book when I have 5 minutes. I'm busy tapping away on my laptop and it's very exciting. It's all coming together and I'm just starting to put some really pretty little bits and bobs in there, as well as the main theme, which will have to wait for the big reveal, but hopefully it's coming in the next few weeks, let's just say maybe a month. So there is my day 16 collage. I did scan it for those who were interested in the background. I did scan it, however, because my scanner only fits sort of just slightly larger than A4 and this is bigger, the edges weren't really flat enough, so I can give you a scan of the middle bit, sort of about that much of the background. But what I really need to do is go and get these like scanned at a photocopy shop, or just get a better printer, which I am saving up for. If you want to help me save up for that on my Ko-fi shop, you can drop me a thank you for my time, etc, etc, and to help keep the channel going and support what I'm doing here. So yeah, if you go to my Ko-fi shop, it's in the link. I'm fundraising for a better printer scanner, one that I can actually fit Masterboard size pieces in, so I can scan them and put them in my Ko-fi shop. Anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everybody.